Okay, so, hey, I'm going to tell you about the Graces. I actually wrote my own summaries for them, for the Graces and the Curses. I'm going to talk about the Graces, and then once I'm finished with that, I'm going to go on to the Curses, and then I'm going to talk about them as combined. I didn't want to mix it up like I did with the Percy Jackson when I did the last two together, because I feel like that didn't work out too well, and the video was way too short for 2 books. I wrote 2.5 pages of stuff for this, so expect this to be long. So for the Graces, this is the Graces. It is by Laure, or Laura, I don't even know, Laure, something like that, Eve. And the whole book and the second is based on witchcraft, like hexes and curses, rituals, different types of herbs, and different things, stuff like that. Black magic kind of things you would think of, or just witchcraft in general. I don't know why, but these types of things interest me. Like, they have tarot cards and all that. I don't know why. It just seems kind of interesting because I watch TV shows. Like, I finished Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, and then I'm watching Supernatural. So yeah, you can really tell what my interests are from the books I read and the TV shows I watch. So I have the summary written here, and I wrote, the Graces are a very well-known and loved family in town. Vera Page recently just moved into town and was instantly enchanted by the Grace teens. The members of the Grace family are believed to be witches, and River will do anything she can to become a Grace, but more importantly, a witch. So River Page is what she calls herself. Like, the first few chapters into the book, after she meets the Graces and they become friends, she tells them she doesn't like her name. It just doesn't fit her the way it should. I guess she believes your name should fit your personality and your looks. And she just feels, or like your interests, and she feels that her name just doesn't fit her. Have you ever thought about that, though? If you didn't have the name you have now and you could choose your own name based on your personality, looks, and interests, what would it be? I've been trying to figure out one for myself for months since I read The Graces. I read it during the summer, and it's been months since I read it, and I still can't figure out something that would fit me. So maybe my name does fit me, but to me it just doesn't. And so I don't know exactly what my name would be if I did have a name that fit me and my weirdness. So I guess maybe you could think about what your name would be for yourself if you could choose it, or if you already thought about it and you have a name. Because I'm kind of curious, so if you do have a name you wish you did have, maybe you could tell me in the comments or something, because I'm really curious. I like names. I like making names. I've made a name out of the words democracy and monarchy, which turned into dennery. So weird, but I'm weird like that. I take names just from random words I see in a room and I turn it into a name. But I think they're cool, so. Or I mix 2 common names together and get some weird cool name. So actually, I've never read books like this with witchcraft. I've read magic with wands and stuff like Harry Potter, but I haven't read actual witchcraft kind of thing. And I think it's cool. I don't know why, I just think it's cool. Okay, so now to talk about the age range or whatever. This is a teen book. It is definitely a teen book because they talk about adult kind of things and they cuss a lot. And there's a part where there's a gay relationship. One of the Grace brother of the 3 siblings, he's in a relationship with a guy. So this is definitely like 13 and up, or if you're not comfortable with it, just read it whatever age after 13 when you're comfortable with it, or you don't have to read it. But yeah, I mean, you might be interested in it, you're not comfortable with that, so I guess maybe you would wait until you were comfortable with it. I don't even know. I don't know you. So I gave this book a rating 9 out of 10, and I also gave the Curses one. I said I would talk about them separately, but I'm talking about them at the same time. But I'm just going to go ahead and say that I give them both a 9 out of 10 because I don't want to repeat myself. I really enjoyed this book. I want to mention that these books are one of those books where you think you know what's going to happen, or you're utterly confused. It's either or. It doesn't matter. You either think you know what's going to happen, or you're completely and utterly confused on what is going on. And then by the end, you're like, what in the world just happened? Because you didn't expect it to happen, or maybe you did because you might have read a lot of books like I have, but I didn't even expect it, and I've read hundreds upon hundreds of books by now. It is ridiculous about how you think you know how the characters act and who they are and what's gonna happen, but then just something happens that you didn't even expect to happen. It's so crazy. Okay, so I'm basically finished with the Graces for now, so I'm just gonna stick it over here, and then I'm gonna grab the Curses and hold its precious beauty in my lap. So, the summary for the Curses, what I just about lost the book. It just slid. So, of course, me reading the summary for this one, it will kind of give a small spoiler for the first book, and you won't really understand it unless you read the first book. So, don't get mad at me. So, the summary for the Curses. After Wolf's abrupt disappearance and return, the Grace siblings are determined to get back to whatever normal world they lived in. But Summer Grace, the youngest of the 3 Grace siblings, has a knack for trouble and knows when magic is involved. She finds a hidden set of tarot cards that she has never seen anything like them before, and finds out they are tied to the Grace family curse in some way. She has to get River to trust her again to get her help in breaking this curse, even if her siblings still are against it. So this one is the same age range. It's a teen. It's got the same things that go on that make it a teen book. It's got the same rating, 9 out of 10, and I said I wouldn't repeat it, but I did anyway. So the first book is in River's point of view. It is first person in River's point of view and all that. But this book is in the point of view of Summer Grace. There are 3 Grace siblings, and Summer is the youngest. They are all in high school, and the oldest, Talia and Fenrin, are twins, and they're in their senior year in this book. And I don't remember what year in high school Summer is in, but she's in the same as River. And as I said, this is one of those books where you're either totally confused or you think you know what's going to happen, and then it just smacks you right in the face with something completely different. Also, what I forgot to mention about the Graces is I remember asking my mom, was it a romance? And she was looking through reviews online, because she brought it home, and I was asking her about it, because I was too lazy to look it up myself, or I just was being an idiot, but I asked her, is it a romance? So she started looking at reviews, and one of the people's reviews said, River is kind of erratic. And the dictionary definition of erratic is having no certain or definite course, wandering, not fixed. So basically, calling her erratic means she's all over the place with her emotions and the way she acts. But I don't know why they say that, because to me, she just seems like a normal person. Like, I don't understand why they call her erratic, because I feel she reacts to things like a normal person would, or I told my mom this after I finished both books, and I told her this. I didn't feel like she was erratic. I feel like she acts like a normal person, how she would react to things. And my mom was like, or maybe you're just like her. Maybe you don't notice it because you're just like her. And I do feel a very similar connection between the way we act and our interests, because she loves to read, and as you see, I love to read. Like, love to read. I would marry my books if I could. But I do see the similarities between River and I. But I don't understand why the person who made that review called her erratic, because to me she doesn't seem so. So also what I've been doing is I've been telling you about how long it would take to read the books. Well, one of these you should be able to read in a week. So maybe two or a little bit over 2 weeks. And that's not too long for 2 books, and I know I did take forever reading the curses, but as I had said, I was so distracted into wanting to read these other books I've gotten that I completely lost interest for a little while. But once I started forcing myself to read it, I was hooked on this story. So I'd like to tell you again, if you don't find interest in a book you started, please give it a chance. I at least read the entire book before I don't give up, really. I've only given up maybe on 1 book, and then I paused 2 others in a series because I found other books that I got interested in, so I kind of paused them. But the only book I've ever completely quit on is a Battle of the Books book, because I could not read it. It was just, I couldn't. But I tried my best, and I really stuck to this book, and it is really good. I really like the storyline and how there's certain things plugged in there that you can actually take into real life scenarios. Also, in the curses, you learn River's real name. I was saying you didn't learn River's real name. It was all this fake name stuff, and you didn't figure it out. But in the end of the curses, you do. And I really didn't expect that to be her name. I can't tell you because it's going to be a secret if you want to read the book. But there was also something else in this book that I had found. I put my bookmark in before I finished it and put it right there because I just like this. So, Summer is talking to her mom about something. I'm talking about the curse. Because the curse is basically they can't fall in love and go off and marry them because a tragedy happens most of the time. I don't know if that would be a spoiler, but I'm trying to explain something. So, her mom is trying to make the argument that there's a traditional of marrying for love precisely because it so often seems to turn to tragedy. Is it really so bad to want to be safe? And so love is brought nothing but pain. And Summer goes, and what has the absence of love gotten anyone in the history of humanity? Nothing but pain. And so her mother says, so your argument is either way, it is all pointless. My argument is that you risk pain either way, so you might as well choose what will give you joy. And I was just like, that's kind of interesting. Because she's saying, basically, that if you go life without love, you're going to experience pain. But if you go through life with love, you're going to experience pain too. But you should at least choose the type of life you want that will at least bring some joy to you. Because either way, we're going to kind of suffer. So anyway, that is all I have for the Graces today. So I would like to mention, I'm going over the Hunger Games next week. I know it is a so overdone and thing that people reviewed, and my video is going to be lost in the endless void of videos done about the Hunger Games, but why not? I'll go into what I made a mistake about in the video when I do it next week, putting them all together, talking about them separately. But What's funny is the Hunger Games trilogy is the first books I read when I started school. And so what a wonderful way to start off a school year with teens running around and killing each other. Isn't that amazing? Flying high over Landers.